Before we get into the next dungeon, Leah's got to go all the way back to the guild hall to have a very awkward conversation about what happened when she dropped out of that raid. I'm hoping she's going to bring her best highs, Leias, and buys for this. At least Lucas isn't here. Don't have to address, hugging him. Or the fact that he has an avatar. I don't really know how we do that, but maybe with enough hand motions, interpretive dance, you get something across. Well, yeah. Still don't really know exactly how those avatars, like how they're created. It seems to be a pretty fast process because one was created pretty much as soon as Leah appeared in the Vermilion Wasteland. But it could also be that Lucas was playing the game for a long time and they just happened to have one in the pod? Yeah, it's not entirely clear. I mean, I'm still thinking that maybe by the end of the game that the revelation is going to be that everybody that's ever logged into Crossworlds has an avatar. Certainly, they seem to have enough servers and the like to support that. I mean, I don't know how. Maybe it could be that we only got so much storage space here. We can make like 30 of them. We'll see soon enough, I suppose. Also, quick fade to black there. Hey, they made that hugging animation. They're going to get the most out of it that they possibly can. Yeah, I mean, it's... at this point in time, I really think that we should just get Sergey or maybe one of the Solar guys in here to just kind of explain the deal. Originally, it was supposed to be kept a secret from Leia, but, that's not so much the case anymore. I think you can just lay it all on the table. Yes, the big shot shareholder Ivan. Definitely a name that we're probably going to be seeing later. Another piece of the many bits of foreshadowing that we've gotten. If you've been playing along at home, I think that foreshadowing is what? The idea that the reason that Leah was captured in the first place to be taken to the Vermilion Wasteland is because somebody's been watching her? Maybe it's Ivan? I mean, he would certainly have the strings to pull, even though it feels like it's very... This would otherwise be a very disparate thing to be talking about. And, of course, the other thing is that any of the avatars explode when the servers go down, which I don't really know how that's going to come into the game, but we'll see. I was like, Gowton's getting a little bit of cold feet about the whole thing. I mean, given what we saw back in the Vermilion Wasteland, I can definitely understand that. Not that I'm entirely sure what exactly he's doing, or why he needs to be there in person, but yeah. Satoshi also got the dumb glasses and weird ear things there. I'm gonna guess that's probably his avatar, at least before he upgraded to a mask. I still think that guy's gonna be Cyber Satoshi. It's kind of hard to really judge anything about the guy given that he doesn't appear in any of the logs yet. So, to get a little bit better look at him or more information from his bio. Yep, got it in one. And he apparently also got a cat there as well. So, unless that might be a virtual cat. Well, the virtual cats we've seen so far are usually covered in electricity. That one did not seem to be. Also, I wonder what Gotham's getting out of this agreement, because I can't really imagine what would be worth it for this. No, we're just going to do the next one. The Plant of Power. Because 2 dungeons in a single episode is a little bit much. Not to mention the fact that we're going to have the next set of quests be open, as well as the next whole bunch of chests to be getting. The next 42. Oh, no, I mean 48 chests. Good lord. All of these. Look at them. Look at them go. Okay, let's get up here and go. You know, like I was saying, a little bit more plot relevant compared to the other temple because, well, it is going to be all about the thing that the Shad were worried about this entire time. And even the fact that you just walk right in here and you get an encounter with an NPC kind of tells you that there's going to be a little bit more going on. It's still mostly just a regular dungeon, though. Lucretia. And you're heading up a power plant that takes natural power generated from the Earth, the track. This is a Final Fantasy VII reference. Well, I mean, of course it is. It's like, why would it not be? This is CrossCode. They've done a lot of references so far, especially to the Square Enix, Squaresoft type of games between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy now. Not that it really matters too much for right now, but you will have a little bit more questy type of things to do later. I guess this is the power plant. No, because unfortunately the major part of the dungeon is just a dungeon. Don't really get too much of the base and keep type of aesthetics going on here, aside from this very opening area. And I guess I might as well. You got anything to say? And sometimes you can... Something that I didn't actually realize is that a lot of those bookcases you can get a look at, which is interesting, but most of it is not very important. Like, definitely all the ones in the guild hall, which I should have probably looked at, but there is plenty of time for lore in the future. And oh yes, before I do anything else, I should probably actually invite these guys in here. And you too. Yeah, you don't just meet with him on the map this time, which is something that, I don't know, that's the first time that's happened in the game. I mean, I guess if you think purple is gloomy. The infestation. I mean, every one of these mushrooms is purple. And this entire thing is glowing purple, made of purple stone, everything. It's just unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to use my shock element in here. I'll just unlock that thing and it's going to be pretty much worthless against the enemies that I'm fighting right now because... Oh boy, having a third one in here finally is getting me confused. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much useless in here because of the fact that everything is going to be of shock element. Of course, you're supposed to do them in any order, so I understand, I'm just saying. And first usage of wave. I think the little lightning bolt, as well as like the little I can't really look at it there, but yeah, when you get the torches lit up, like the little lightning bolt as well as the little wave symbol is kind of cute around them. And finally, yes, it does exactly what I thought it was going to do. Try that again. Big surprise. I mean, given the way that everything was lined up, I don't really know how you couldn't predict that. And compared to the the wave dungeon, I'm going to be having a little bit more timing-based stuff, where you're supposed to be. I mean, obviously, how else would you do it? But yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit more timing-based stuff with how you teleport and everything like that. What are these guys called? Robok. I guess because they're robot octopuses. And they're weak to ice? Sure. Yes, I know they are pecking me like birds and everything, but that hasn't... You know, that's probably just a coincidence. I mean, we just fool their Gatling gun attack by... Good. They just fool their Gatling gun attack by teleporting. It has such a huge wind-up time, it's pretty easy to realize how exactly you're supposed to do that. Told you, there's going to be... I mean, of course, everything had a lot of timing, regardless of what I'm talking about, but still, it's like... Oh, come on now. Hit that. Hit that. Because it's very short amount of time that goes up. I mean, as always, for some reason the track really likes creating a bunch of enemies that are based off of... I mean, especially in the dungeons, birds for some reason. Alright, how does this thing work? Well, it just takes the gates down quickly, and then I run directly into the balls. Even time to come back up. Anyway. Yeah, especially birds, because we got like those ostriches back in the cold temple as well. Yeah, Wave is so opposed to... Yep, can go through walls as well. Wave is so opposed to electricity, it just takes it out easily. And now we get into the real meat of things. So the way that the Electro Balls worked is that when you hit them into the wall, they travel along the wall. However, the Wave, on the other hand, it goes in... Once it connects with the wall, it continues going in the direction perpendicular to the wall. Which is... I mean, I'll say this. I don't know if I've ever really seen this sort of mechanic before. It's actually kind of cool. It's an interesting way to do that. I guess with the idea that the waves are penetrating the wall and then going through them. I don't even know how to describe it. But yeah, you hit it against the wall, it goes perpendicular to the surface of the wall, basically. And it will go on for pretty much ever, as far as I can tell. Yes. I got confused on this too, Emily, but that's not... Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tron. Putting into words the exact thing I said last time. Are you doing the commentary for this, or am I? I mean, there was also, like, you know, every puzzle element was based around cold stuff, too. You're not fooling me here, power plant. Because it's a pun. Damn. That plant is swole. Looking pretty hot, to be honest. So yeah, hey, you remember Flowey from Undertale? Well, he's all grown up, and this is what he looks like now, I guess. Thankfully, much like the previous temple, anything that's weak to fire is going to be taken out pretty quickly by the melee attacks. Gonna have to still be a little bit cautious, but yeesh. So you just gotta watch out for the big beefy electro arms. They're anchor arms from SpongeBob. That's the reference that I was trying to think of, and I entirely forgot the name there because I haven't seen that show in like 10 years. Actually, it's probably got to be even more than that at this point. Well, at least it'll be easy to get that when the time comes. Okay, and... I mean, to be honest, though, anchor arms made out of electricity, probably not more powerful, but at least more impressive in one way or another. I mean, you know, it's like the... to make another reference, the taser. Wait a second. Remembering things slightly. I did do a lot of this dungeon on stream. So I do have this pretty well remembered for the time being. At least a lot of the basics here, so I'm not going to be screwing up so many of the mechanics going on here. At least, God, I can only hope. Thankfully, I'd like to say combat-wise, this one is actually probably a little bit easier than the... There is no way I'm going to remember any of the names of these temples. I think this one is the Zir'vitar, and the other one is the... Well, here. Sinus Transmit? It's like sine wave? Sure, yeah, that makes sense. But the other one is the Sonages and the Zir'vitar. Okay. But yeah, that one I think had a little bit more difficult enemies, but this one is a lot more difficult puzzles, to be honest. Let's check in here first. Sure, whatever. Remember... Oh yeah, it's not like a... It's a railgun, that's right. Nope, I am screwing it up right now, the whole... Not hitting the right hitting one thing before the other. You know what? Just take out one of the powers, the powered plants. What? Oh no, I missed it. I missed the thing. Oh well, this should be enough. Yep, this should definitely be enough. Oh, the enemies are so easy here. Anyway, look, I got it in the end. And that's really all that matters. You know, there does seem to be like a lot of the purple mushrooms around here. Maybe this is actually, maybe it's not even so much like the power plant that's the result of this. Oh, this is a fun thing. Hit that, kind of fades into the distance. It stops listening to what Roger Daltrey has to say. And you can get it to teleport places. It's cool. Of course, much like the previous dungeon, remember that the whole hitting stuff on the tracks is kind of the way you want to go here. Something that I might have forgotten quite a bit for a while. Okay. But yeah, I was saying that it's like, it does seem like maybe the infestation is something with electricity. You know, it is the shock, the color of shock and everything, but also at the same time, how am I even going to do this? Just like teleport it over there. Which is, yeah, actually, you know, what does it even matter? This is where I want it to be. I don't, you know, I don't think I have ever done the correct solution to that puzzle now. Ah, well. It's, hey, like I said, what matters is that I got results. That's the only thing that matters. Okay, there's one. And then basically I'm just going to go and do the same thing for each one of these. Hit melee attacks and then finish her up. Well, those things are all pecking about. Robot birds. Why not? Oh, why? You didn't want to join in the battle? Fine. I guess we're going to have the super form of that guy come in as soon as I get out of there. As what happened with the raid, if you'll remember. I still think that maybe like the infestation could have been caused by, but I just need to have this go up here. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I still think it might be like the same sort of deal that's happening with the, no, not there, but there. The Vermilion Wasteland, you know, purple and red. Maybe just like overusage of the elements. Or maybe that is like the orange element that I was talking about last time that could have been a thing. Like whatever the Vermilion Wasteland is was where they were going to introduce the new element like that. And yeah, you can clearly see on the floor that there's a track kind of telling you what to do. I did not see that for a quite long time, so, well, I know now. Knowing is half the battle and all that. These things otherwise come up pretty fast, so make sure you got everything going on there and going on well. Yeah, one more should do it. You know, infestation. I mean, certainly the thing that everything looked like... Oh. It's a ghost! It's a ghost acting like the boss of the Desert Temple from... I can get this real easy. This goes through walls, remember? Yeah, like Desert Temple from Forager. There's a lot of references this episode. I don't know what the deal is. But yes, certainly it did seem like an infestation, or at least an infection with the amount of viruses that you saw in, all the way back in the, oh, just right here. All the way back in the Vermilion Wasteland. It's like, it would not surprise me at all if that was maybe something that they were building up to in the lore that they just kind of decided to not do eventually. You know, they were like, this is a little bit too, isn't really fitting with the rest of the game or something like that. What's going to be the best way to do that? Well, I mean, I don't think there is a best way. I just go down here. A deviously difficult puzzle. How am I ever going to do this? Oh, I already solved it. I don't know. I'd like to see if maybe, hey, we have already gotten like one update in a sense, for the game. Trying to spend too long trying to figure out how to approach that. Maybe we'll be seeing something later on with how exactly with how exactly that would like fit in there, like the actual introduction of that into the game or something. And then yeah, this did kind of confuse me for a second, but no, all you need to do is just that. That's why they have the opening in the gate there. And I'd like to see like some more little updates like they did with the what's gonna be the best way to approach this? I'd like to see like a couple more updates in the same way that they did with the Rookie Harbor type of deal. I think that'd be cool. I don't know what's actually going to happen though, because I have not yet gotten to that part of the game. I guess it's just going to be here, right? And it is. Because, I mean, if I can't see where that's going to go, that's probably the way to go. I mean, just run around on top of here, bypass the entire puzzle. Only one enemy. I wonder if it's going to be another one of those, what are you guys called? Ectovolts. Another one of these ecto coolers here. Maybe I can just hit it? No. It really does like dodge around every single one of your attacks if it's not holing up in the... That should do it. Yes. If it's not holing up in its hastily made fortress. All right, that actually worked out super well. And also, this is going to be a very easy one to get once I get the element of wave. I mean, I guess maybe... No, there's nothing you can do here right now. It's only going to be when I actually get the real thing. And this is, I think, well, this is not quite the super puzzle. It is very close to the super puzzle. And it is actually quite a rough and tough one to be doing. Unless you look at the floor and see that there's tracks that show you everything. That was the embarrassing thing on the stream there, because I did not notice that on the ground, despite knowing about it from the, previous dungeon and everything. Yeah. Anyway, what is this? What are we actually doing here? It's right. It's this one going upwards to do that, and then this one going upwards to do that. Easy peasy. I mean, I guess, you know, you have to actually like realize that this is even going to be a thing, but it is such a very clear hint that it's embarrassing that I did not see it the first time. Oh, wait. That one's supposed to be there. Or there. I think this one is going to be the one that takes a little bit longer, so we'll hit that first and then hit this second. Close enough. Whatever. I think the first time I did it, I actually got them to be in the correct lanes, but it does not matter at all. Anyway, there's number one. Halfway through. And I guess this is entirely unnecessary to go down there, but I did it anyway because I forgot what that teleporter led to. 3 enemies. I don't think at any point in time you fight more than 1 Ectovolt at a time. Of course, having these guys just straight up break through the wall, and what are they weak to again? Fire. Oh yeah, that's right, because you do this again. It's effective against the power plants, it's effective against these guys. Pop guns. I wonder, does the track repair that every single time? I mean, I guess it would have to, wouldn't it? I mean, that or it's... You got the birds conducting a raid on this area. But somehow I highly doubt that because it is called the Trial of Bullets. Unless they had a different type of bullet that they were planning to get in there. Oh, yes. Shoot right through here. That one took me... It took me more than 5 seconds, which, as far as I'm concerned, is too long to figure out. It's like, oh, right, you just hit it from that direction. You don't have to hit everything with the... Wow, that was weird. You don't have to hit everything with the... Where do I have a key to be used? Is it in here? No. It's in here. Yep, I actually remember that correctly. Yeah, you don't have to hit everything with a wave element. Just because that is the... come on, man. Showcats? Of everything here? God... No, I should be able to take him out. And I told you that there are like a forced couple of fights with these guys, and yet the monster fibula was all trying to guilt me on fighting the dudes. There's only so much I can do. Then bounce it right off of the open hole in the thing. Oh, actually, I'm a little bit too far. There we are. And right across there. Big old zigzag, and we're done. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not too bad of a dungeon to go through. It's just this room, if you don't realize the gimmick here is... It's ridiculous. Perpendicular to the wall surface. I just said that. Ah, yes, the octavolts. Those things are cool. Well, I mean, you can. You just gotta make sure that you get the wave element first. I mean, that is gonna be nice and everything, but they still dodge bullets and all that. You're not, like, 100% guaranteed to... Where am I actually going with this? You're not, like, 100% guaranteed to have, like, a real easy fight just because you get the element. I mean, as you... And you also actually have to actually understand the element first to be able to, you know, understand how elements work, especially when you're doing the analysis, unlike me, to get the most usage out of it. Okay. Obviously, left one's going to be first, and then right one, and then we're good. I should have actually tried to figure this out without the help of the floor guidance first, though. I got the right side. I could have probably gotten the left side if I just had, you know. I wasn't doing it on stream. As you know. Hitting both of these at the same time causes them to get on top of each other, which is a fun mechanic. I don't know, it's like... I am also thankful that this hasn't been turning into Baba Is You yet. We got some time. We got another dungeon here, as well as what's going to be the final dungeon of the game. Though, like I said, from what I understand, it is going to be... Like, the final dungeon of the game is still a work in progress or something like that. So what's going to be the best way to do this? Okay, so I do, in fact, have to do that. Which, an interesting conundrum, isn't it? I think that the easiest way to do it is probably going to be, like, just have that, like, go, you know, hit it down. No, this doesn't make any sense at all. Although what I can do is... This one might actually take me a second here. Because I need to do it like this. And unfortunately, I don't think I can get any one of the things in there. Oh, what am I even thinking? This is... I am very stupid for not even realizing it's so easy. Oh, like... Oh, I have to stand on it, though. Yeah. You know, I should cut that, but I won't. I won't, just to make absolutely sure that y'all are gonna see the embarrassment that I have dealt to myself by doing that. This is something. Okay, well, I think that probably the more correct way to do this is to just get it super... it's close, but it's not quite what I'm looking at right now. And I do need to have something on there. So maybe instead do it this way around and maybe make this a little bit easier on myself. Why am I utterly failing at these puzzles? They're not even that difficult. And yet. Okay. Thankfully we can get out of this mind-bending room. I can't... Like, you can go back and watch the stream. I'm not going to put a link to it or anything. It is because that's, you know, pre-pro. But if you manage to find it... I did those things, like, on my first try. And much less stupidly. Okay. The final area of the dungeon here before the boss itself, it's pretty much the same thing as the previous one. Okay, come on. Like, yeah. Ugh, yeah, it really does not deal a whole lot of damage if you don't have them broken. But I should be able to break them easy enough. And then it's just wait for these guys to jump at me, fall directly off the edge, of course. Your classic sort of strategy in my neck of the wood. And one more to hopefully take these guys out, you know. Yeah, as soon as they get broken, they go down quite easy. As long as I'm careful, I shouldn't even have to worry too much about, like, accidentally getting hit by them too much. But in the meantime, why not just, like, throw on a little bit of... No, not that. Shock resistance. Why not? I do like the color of the pistachios there. It really does look like a little pistachio. Okay. Uh-oh. You know what? Just to hit him off the edge. Nope, that didn't quite work out in the way I wanted it to. That should do it. And that should do it. Unfortunately, knocking them into pits does get rid of their break, which is, you know, the major way that I was getting a lot of damage in on there. No, I should be... Yeah. Thankfully, taking that guy out fast enough. Whiffed it. Very close, but apparently not close enough. Also, I guess they can jump across gaps? Does that actually come up at all? Like, aside from this one area? That's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess a lot of enemies can actually jump across gaps, but, you know. These guys in particular, with their little chicken legs, didn't really strike me as something that would need that. Okay, one of these and then some Electro Balls. As you do. Good, even before I... Yeah, there we are. And you know what? Let's just go full on. Really get some damage here. Because, I mean, the Electro Volts, it's like as soon as you break those things, it's not really all that big of a deal. Oh, you do actually fight two of them at once. I was incorrect. But thankfully, like I said, doesn't even matter. These guys really are actually kind of easy to take out as long as you can dodge their other more frustrating attacks. Good, and that should do it, really. Oh, well, it should have done it, but it didn't. Yeah, it's that last hit that they do that is the difficult one to be dodging there. Oh well, not that it really matters. And don't get like double extra keys this time. I don't know, maybe it's whatever the first dungeon that you go to is the one that you get the key in. Finally, the final element of the game. Wave, and the thing that is going to open up a pretty hefty back half to this episode. I do have some more points to be using for this. Exocast, so of course you see... I think that's 3? Or 6, I mean? I cannot tell. Looks like the sort of thing that should be like the Spheromancer. But, I like the sound that you get for that one. It's a good sound. It's a good meaty sound for getting for turning on wave element. All right, but yes, I suppose one of the other things that I should do is probably throw on some circuitry here. Never really looked too close at this, but yeah, I mean, I remember that the warp decoy damaging and stunning enemies. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of stunning, sure. Anything like all the way up to Iron Stance, why not? And then I think super fast projectile or swarm of projectiles that do home. So that's actually I mean, I guess, you know, hey, you look at like the fish. The fish had homing on them and everything. From what people have told me, the melee art is actually kind of bad. I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah, it's like you can see kind of the line of reasoning for that. Resistance to wave. Hey, isn't there just like, you know, shooter down here? Can I get both of these? And a lot of health, but I mean, that's, you know, to be expected. This is kind of like the health thing. Sure, I'll take that. And then into the final part of this where it gets real something. And there's one part here where I just could not, like, even figure out where I was supposed to go for quite a while. But yeah, just gotta teleport around here, there, and going down. Oh no, it was down here that I wanted to go. Yeah, for some reason I remembered that I was struggling for some reason a lot with figuring out where to go to like finish up this last puzzle, but yeah, it's actually much easier than you might think to do that. I mean, I just freaked myself out by thinking it was more difficult than it was. Then I can go get that chest over there, but obviously save it for the end of the episode, as always. No, wait, I do need to go down here. I'm freaking myself out with, you know, the simple sort of, like, puzzle solutions because I think that they're more difficult than they actually are. I mean, it's, you know, I've said before that it's like if I don't practice these things like at least once, I do go full YouTuber here. Okay, I think that, yeah, like the first thing I do is get that, and then as soon as I get through there, okay, yeah, this is gonna take like a minute to kind of get correct once again. Okay, I think I got it now. And then here, backwards, because it's got to be real tricky. And then finally, done. Okay, I hate that thing. It really is not nearly as difficult as the one in the other temple, but it is not, like, the easiest. I'll finally get, like, some, finally get like some actual like proper attacks with the wave element here. I didn't really get it before or anything. And one more. Yeah, the Ki Blast does not appear to be very good. But hey, the healing though definitely is. Okay, well, one more and then we're done. Yep, feels pretty good to be taking these guys out easy, especially getting that mark on there too and everything. Okay, that's to kind of prep you up for the next fight, I suppose. Alright, final boss time, let's go. And maybe I should, even though I don't remember this guy being very difficult, you know, at least prep up a tad, just to be sure. Salted peanuts? No, we're gonna go for the prime pistachios. And why not use the best? Of course, what else would it be? Well, hey, unlike the Octovolts, this guy is the Plasma Phantom. You can at least attack him. He doesn't dodge around everything. Let's get the homing hit there. And then, yeah, not too difficult to kind of figure out this whole thing. Back right there. I faced the entirely wrong direction. Whoops. Oh well, it's fine. As long as I make sure... Oh man, you can't even hit him? Can't even hit him when you're not using wave. Okay, well, now with that, back off. And then 1, 2, 3. Yes, I did remember that correctly. We should be a little bit careful, though. I can heal up quite a bit, but not that much. Okay, that'll work. Phase 2 is actually probably easier to get this than even the first one. There you go. I mean, yeah, I can see. It's not like it's the best type of... he just goes directly towards you. It's not all that difficult to dodge. As long as it's the best type of melee attack, it's workable. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I think he does the dash because he reminds me a lot, honestly, of Judgment from Hyper Light Drift, the final boss from Hyper Light Drifter, especially with like the dashes and everything. The projectiles, not so much, but I do think that there is a case to be made. And the final one, where you have to be on a very specific side of the arena. Can I get it? I think I got it. Cool, cool, cool. To do. Yeah, not too bad. I do think probably an easier one comparatively. Oh, and with a mark on there, yeah, it would have been real easy to take him down. Just gotta remember that he dashes towards you. So just wait until he's about to fire off that attack and dash away yourself. And hey, once again, it feels like levels are just getting very rare. Look at that electricity. I mean, see, as Lucretia said, and I didn't even comment on, simple and clean energy, because, you know, Kingdom Hearts. I mean, look at the amount of it up there. You can just siphon off a little bit. And Tron somehow, despite the fact this was more puzzle-focused of dungeons, came in last. Oh, because even as a Scrub Magic user, he can't take on a bunch of robot chickens. What a sassy pose. I also liked how one of her hands was gigantic and glowing with electricity. Yep, but not just yet. I don't really know how long that one is going to be. It seems like these ones are slightly shorter comparatively for dungeons, but combining both of the elements is going to be something, certainly. I do think that this is mostly the same thing we saw last time, so you're not really getting a whole lot of new stuff, you know, knowing about like the Quins, whole dealio. Sparking curiosity. Oh, come on, you can't just make puns like that and expect that to be the basis of your mythology. Yes. I mean, he is the element of waves. The idea that there would be still oceans. Ridiculous. And then the message of the sky. Which I guess is, you know, like I said, I'm expecting that to be, like, whatever the whole deal with that is to be resolved in the Sapphire Ridge. Because that does seem like the star area. I mean, you'd require the star shade to get into it. What am I even saying? That's probably more than anything else the reason why I think of it like that. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, it's a good thing they had those in the game, otherwise I would have been able to get out the Vermilion Wasteland. Maybe? Because that seemed to be more or less kind of like what that was based on. Modified version of it. That gigantic ring. And I mean, we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of it very soon, too. That's a good question. But, like, how even? There's, like, no place to jump off across here. It's just all... Ugh. How come everybody else gets the ability to climb up stuff? I don't know, like magic or something. Ancient technology, etc. You know how it works. Okay, and then what? You guys got anything to say? Well, I would assume that it, you know, generates power. They don't even just have power to do that. All right, back to the rite of passage. Got one more to do, and really I could just run in there and do it right now. Well, here, let's at least open this up. But first... But first, there seems to be some sort of turmoil with the Shad. I'm gonna guess the Wick Cats are Wick back. Yeah. They make sure that they keep that pace going, too. Have you take quite a while to get to the next area, don't they? Yep, the cats are back in town. So yeah, it's going to be not only just the temple next time, the final temple, but also figuring out the real solution to the cats. You might remember that the EXE repair pole things, I need to beat like 50 of them to unlock their information. Yeah, well, that's why we're going to be seeing a lot more of those. Of course, of the quests that I'm going to be doing here, this is not going to be one of them. I feel like that's, you know, that's more of like the final temple type of association anyway, rather than being a regular quest. You know, plotline quest. Well, we got a lot of quests to solve before entering the final one, as well as chests to get and everything like that. Which is what I'm going to be doing right now. Strap yourself in, it's Basin Quest time. And I am coming at you from post-commentary land because you could really tell by the end of that previous section that I was running out of steam. So to keep things fresh and to not mumble my way through the second half of the episode, because I've been playing for 3 hours, I'm going to be doing quests and chests post-commentary from now on. And this is definitely a good time to start that, because Basin Keep has a lot of pretty lengthy quests and... well, just a lot of quests in general. This first one, not so much. They've replaced the Papa Gang soft hats, the weak, pathetic, easily persuaded by negotiation members, with Papa Gang muscle and some crate-pushing shenanigans. I guess you could call it, like, puzzles? But it's a good thing that the muscle are not actually all that more difficult than the regular Papa Gang soft hats. But the pushing around crates does put a little bit of a wrinkle in it. Second up, we got the Tower Defense Part 2, now including Wave and Shock, and a lot more Wave and Shock themed enemies. But also, there's a couple other quests, because each one of the sections will also have an infinite version of it. Sort of like in the same way that I was able to continuously make drinks back at Bakikum. There is another quest to be doing that as well. You only need to get well, like X amount of points, 500, which is roughly just redoing the previous quest again. And I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing too much more with it. You do get rewards and everything, but I don't know. As much as I like how much it's changed, I'll talk about it more when I actually get to the tower defense by itself. I think I'm going to save the second half of that for the next episode as well, because this is already overstuffed with a lot of things, especially with the Gaia's Gardener's quests. I hate this quest as much as I love Claude's Glasses. It's pretty much extreme hide and seek. Gotta go find a whole bunch of enemies, 17 of them as you can see, and although you can use your analysis to get pointed in the right direction as you get into each area, that's still 17 enemies, and they're pretty far apart. It's gonna be like a miniature chest section just doing that alone. And those enemies are no pushovers either. They have a kind of a weird gimmick with them, and yeah, it's just a lot of editing to find them in the first place, and a lot of editing out of deaths. Enough said. Aside from that, there is also the Cat in the Car quest, the Henry quest, and there is another quest over in the Pond Slums to go talk to the head honcho of that area, the Mafia Don, to finally do something about getting the pass to get to some of the best traders in the area. It's a full episode, certainly. This is at least a short one. The super boss Corrado is the only thing that you're really going to be doing in this next cave, but it is also with a super oven, and yes, you are going to be using that for the fight, of course. You get your tutorial area just blowing up those ice stacks that prevent me from going in deeper into the cave before, and then it is a single boss fight, but it is a boss fight with gimmicks, so that is a little rough. Yeah, so first up, I'm gonna go talk to Cat in the Car. Not gonna do his quest, because that does require you to get into the entrance of the third and final dungeon here. Or, well, it doesn't exactly require it if you happen to know what a code already is. But even though I have already played that section, yeah, I have done the third dungeon now as of recording the post-commentary. I didn't know that when I was recording the video. And besides, I think that I can save some stuff for the next video, but I still want to talk to him anyway. Pouring through ancient tomes of knowledge, found by going into the back room of an apartment building. Why not? Also, apparently hexacasts use cards as their weapons. Yeah, magicians in the very classic sense, I suppose. But yes, the only thing that you need to do to find where the knowledge you seek is right there. 2 meters above you, Captain. Look, I'm the one that always does this anyway. It doesn't matter. Let's just do it. You know, I guess looking at this, technically you could just go around and do all of this yourself, but Cat in the Car just kind of points you in the right direction. I don't think anything would stop you from looking at that book and finding the area you need to go anyway. Maybe that would be something. There is eventually going to be a new game plus of this game. After, I don't know how much more I'm going to play this after, like, that finally gets implemented into the game and everything, but maybe I'll check it out. Well, anyway, Henry Quest, the same thing as usual. Still there with his big dopey glasses, with his gigantic headphones, earmuffs. It's the same thing that Satoshi was wearing. I guess that's just something that you wear if you're a researcher or whatever. Also got the same, like, hair as Satoshi if you just combed it down a little bit. Same love of big, goofy-looking headwear. Glasses. Hey, wait a second. No, it's probably just a coincidence. Anyway, go fight some of these Papa Gang muscle. It is kind of fun, but it is very... This first part especially, I screw up, like, a lot. I mean, it's the same strategy that you've been using against any of the Papa Guns up to this point, where you just wait for them to use their Gatling gun attack, and then you just run up and fire spin them into oblivion. And yet, I still managed to screw it up quite a few times. Oh well. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put any chests or anything in here, because when I was looking around the city, there was one chest that I couldn't find, and I kept thinking that it was going to be somewhere in this building, but no. It was actually in the police station. Did you see it? Yeah, this is the same sort of thing where I should just wait behind the bookcases. But I think the thing that screwed me up more than anything else is that table in the middle of the area. Yes, the table and those chairs are somehow more of a hindrance than so many other enemies that I've fought in this game so far. Because obviously trying to shoot at you, the Papa Gang are going to gravitate towards the center of the room, and then yeah, like that right there. Or for me to dodge them, I'm going to gravitate toward the center of the room, and that's when the chairs get you. Screws up your attempt to break some enemies, or you accidentally just walk directly into a chair for a couple seconds and take quite a bit of damage. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit of an overreaction, but I was just like, hey. Actually, you know what I should have done was just be like, let's restart this. Let's just hack this out of the footage and not use... Oh, well, I guess it's in here anyway. Then I tried to jump up on this table and did manage to do it, but even I knew that was a bad idea. Also, what is up with Clipson Tower having a big bar there? And a very messy one at that. And maybe the Papa Gang were having a drink, knocking one back before going into a fight. Oh well, in the meantime, you can really see what's going on here. Extreme Sokoban. Which, okay, not technically since everything's kind of on its own track. But the fact that you are getting attacked at the same time does make this a little bit more difficult. I'm at least going to try to set things up while I do have I do have a little bit of a reprieve from birds attacking me. Yes, they are going to immediately be coming back, but that's okay. They come pretty slowly, actually, so it's not even all that bad. I want to say it was maybe I might be a little bit over-leveled for this area because, you know, do all of the quests in every single section and everything. As well as fight, usually fight an awful lot of enemies, whether it's for, like, a Henry's quest or collecting supplies for upgrading things, etc., and so on. So I was doing pretty good. Yes, Sokoban. I mean, it's... Certainly, I guess I must be much better at this point after playing the entirety of Baba Is You. But God, I remember like back when I was doing playing a lot of NetHack. There is a section there that just is Sokoban. It is just a Sokoban puzzle, and I would never actually do it myself. I would just look up the solution because like NetHack Wiki exists and everything like that. Has for quite a while. Because you get really good rewards for doing that. Like a bag of holding so that you can just have, huge amount of inventory space. As well as, and/or a, Necklace of Reflection, which pretty much makes you immune to a lot of types of magic. All you gotta do is solve this puzzle, and I was unwilling to do so. So, yeah. I mean, hey, at least I feel like I'm less... I'm more willing to do that these days. I mean, I was even talking about in the previous dungeon where I said, yes, there is an obvious way to do this puzzle if you just look at the tracks on the floor. No, you're on top of that box muscle. You gotta get off of there to attack me. There you go, much better. I mean, certainly the other thing that makes fighting these guys a lot easier is the fact that there are all these boxes around here, and you only fight one of them at once. I mean, maybe more important than anything else, it's just that. Well, you only fight one of them at once, provided that they don't mess around on top of boxes for a very long time. But yeah, I was saying in the previous dungeon that I wanted to at least try to figure out that one puzzle, even though... But, as soon as you actually see the floor, it's like, well, the puzzle's done. You can't unsee that. Makes it very, makes it impossible to go back. And yeah, for some reason, a wave crate. I don't really, it makes me wonder, why isn't every one of these things a wave crate? Seems like it would be much easier to move around. You just put some sort of, like, wave point on there, and you're done. Maybe they could only afford one. Or maybe that was the only place that they could put one of the crates that had a that did not have a place that you could push it around to get to the edge of it. Why do they have everything set up like this? Maybe it's an art installation to put all these tracks around here, because that's the only thing that I could possibly think of. Guarding. I don't like guarding. I should really do more guarding, but I don't like it. Oh well, there's plenty of points, especially in that third dungeon coming up here, that I will get a lot more usage out of that mechanic with pretty soon. So, look forward to it, I suppose. Would I actually use like the guard arts though? Absolutely not. Why even bother? I mean, I'm sure that there will be... I'm sure probably coming up to the very end of the game, I'll end up using that a little bit more, but for right now, let me just have it for the time being. And final crate. And also, very likely, final bird, too. It pains me so much to be beating up my own kind, but they're the ones trying to steal fruit, not me. Good and done. Oh, come on, he should be retreating right now. Fine, if you want to do it like that. No, okay, fine. Yeah, the one hit left. That's when you decide, okay, I guess I'll leave now. Well, then, at least the second half of that went a lot better than the first half. I'm happy with that. Got some sweet box pushing skills going on there. Now I'm ready for Deadly Premonition 2 whenever that comes out. I assume they're going to be putting that back in, right? Get yourself an upgraded, an even more upgraded invincible guitar out of the whole thing. And yes, I am going to remember to turn this one in. Because like I said last episode, it was too embarrassing to have done that multiple times in the past. Yep, I fried a whole bunch of birds. Why do they put so much chewing you out if you don't do that correctly? I still wonder if that was possible with the right combination of highs and buys to actually get out of it negotiating. This is the sort of game that I would expect that type of thing from. It is surprisingly comprehensive in the way that a lot of the NPC chatter and everything is designed for if you do something early, late, or if you're particularly over-leveled for something, if you do something in an alternative way, etc. and so on. There's a lot of it there. Yes, so I did notice this guy when I first entered the base and keep, that it's like, this dude's talking about being a gangsta, and he is named Mick, so of course he's going to have something to do when the time finally comes. And something to do is already done. You know, I said the Corrado quest might be the fastest one, but I think this is... And of course, he still is angry about it. Saying his catchphrase, comma, woman. I don't know, but anyway, I can also start up the second half of that as well, because I do want to get some of those sweet upgrades, and I forgot to do that immediately, so... I said, what? I already finished up the police quest. Why not go on the other side of the law? It's only fitting. I feel like if this was a different game, if this was like a Skyrim or something, maybe doing one of these factions would lock out the other one. I wonder who this guy is based on. I don't know. I could not possibly imagine. Nope, not at all. Yeah, so it is an interesting twist that apparently everything with the mushrooms is like a drug. I mean, we're doing drug running. Thankfully, we're not like assassinating people or anything. This is not Grand Theft Auto. It is still shady, though, but it is not Grand Theft Auto. I guess that's good in some ways. And yes, you do get to get some of the drug. It's a mushroom. A little bit later on, too. That's actually what they sell in the shop upstairs. And not calzones. Yes, he's Don Calzone. Yes, I know. Look, I didn't make the game. If I did, rest assured I would take out some of this stuff. But yeah, it's very expensive, but a pretty good item. So I think it's worth maybe stocking up on a couple. And I do. And I do also just eat one immediately, throwing, I think it's like 60,000 credits down the drain. Just because, hey, what does this do? Even though it says what it does. I don't know what I was thinking, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. Yeah. Well, one of the great things about working on the other side of the law is that do finally get like some more information on some of the guards around here and everything, as well as the entrance into a bunch of chests. I had to keep that in there just because sometimes I occasionally get stuck in the scenery in this game, and it seems like you can just automatically get out by spinning around, but it's still strange nonetheless. Alright, but before I do that, since this is literally right here, I decided to go and do the turret stuff, and it is... Wait, this thing talks to you? This didn't even cross my mind, but it seems like this would be much easier to... Why do we even have to have people here to tell me about how the turret worked if the turret just tells me? Wait a second, none of this makes any sense. Well, anyway, yeah, like I said, it's mostly the exact same as the previous quest, except this one just goes forever. And the stuff you get out of it, yeah, sure, cross sandwich is great. Final dinner is actually pretty good. It's like plus 20% for your main stats. Defense, offense, etc. And some okay boots. To be honest, I'm gonna be getting a pretty well upgraded version of that as soon as I get the pass, so it doesn't really make all that much of a difference. But maybe like final meal would be the thing to try and go get. I don't know. Something to think about. But yes, the tower defense. I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but as much as I do like the change of pace, this, and the fact that this does seem to be pretty well realized as far as like the turret stuff goes. You have a bunch of different types of turrets, and there's this whole energy mechanic and everything too. It's neat, but at the same time, this also feels like one of those things that is trying to find fire somewhere. This also does feel like one of those things that as soon as you find out that, I don't know, like a shock is the best element, that you just make every one of your turrets shock, and that's it. Which is why I'm not, super interested in seeing exactly how deep the rabbit hole goes, but like I said, I'm at least going to do this basic stuff. And thankfully, the ice dash is still very good for taking out enemies in this because the paths are entirely predictable. You just walk directly into every one of the ice spikes that I'm throwing down. I mean, the basic strategy that I did use here is that the two starting turrets are ones that are going to break shields, and then the rest of the turrets are going to be a lot of elemental stuff for the heavy damage. And I think that worked out just fine. Yeah, although there was maybe a little bit of a cut at the beginning of that. If you didn't notice it, don't worry about it. I largely was able to do this without any problem. No, it was mostly standing in front of enemies the entire time that did me in, because that is a good way to get yourself killed. These enemies still do attack you, even though you have the turrets kind of being the more threatening thing here. So the entirety of the tower defense, as well as a lot of like the somewhat gimmicky types of things I've done before, whether it was the top-down shooter that I did back in the Return to Rookie Harbor, for example, or even the drink-making machine in Bakatoon, for example. I mean, there's stuff here, but like I said, the rewards that you get from it are not super important. They're not something that is extremely game-changing. It's just kind of nice to have. And it does seem like, as much as these are very well-realized games, they're not so well-realized to be like games within themselves. it's one of those things that I always say where I think that mini games in a game are sort of a grab bag of different things. Sometimes you can have some really good ones, but more often than not, I think it's like you're putting it in aside from the main game, so usually it doesn't have as much work put into it, and it's fairly simple. Some can be better than others, certainly, but I think for the most part, I like straightforward gameplay stuff more. Just as an opinion type of thing. I think that the best way that you can kind of look at this is if you're talking about fishing minigames. This is kind of like your canonical sort of side content type of thing. Because fishing minigames really do run the gamut. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Final Fantasy 15, you were pretty much just battling against the fish as you were fishing. And that's great. Other games that I've played, like Stardew Valley, Six of Grindia, Persona 4, I remember having some pretty good fishing, are simple, but there's like actual mechanics in there. You know, for example, I mean, even though it's just kind of keep the cursor in the right area, there's some tech that you can use, as well as maybe some more special things like Stardew Valley has, the getting treasure chest and the like there. To make it interesting, to make it really engaging. Which is why I think that, you know, you can really judge a good mini game by two different things. Specifically trying to, you know, make it engaging, making it an interesting thing, or just give you some sort of like, what do you get out of it? What's like the benefits? Because something like Secrets of Grindia, not as advanced as Stardew Valley, but you get the collection, you get crafting stuff, you can use it as pet food. There's a bunch of different things that you can do to grind out when you're grinding out a lot of the fish that you're trying to get to still make it interesting. I mean, which is why I would say that something like a pretty uninteresting type of fishing, for example, like Animal Crossing, you still got the whole, hey, collect all the fish, put them into the museum and stuff like that. It's got that sort of a gambling sense to it, which I think makes it still pretty interesting, even though the fishing itself is press A when the bobber goes down. That's why I was kind of disappointed when I saw that the fishing that they had in Hades was like that same sort of thing, you know, press A when bobber goes down, but then also like the fish are just minor collectible. You get some stuff out of it, but there's no catch-em-all, there's no real advanced crafting. When I think back to something like a Terraria, especially, which again, not very interesting fishing, it's just, you know, cast the stuff out and see what you get. It's like, at least the stuff you get is real good. I'm talking stuff on the order of like, supremely overpowered pickaxe, crafting equipment very early in the game if you're fishing in the ocean. And that's why, you know, CrossCode, I feel like it's almost there in a bunch of different ways. You know, like, there is enough stuff going on here, but it feels like you know, the advanced mechanics of this doesn't really make that much of a difference comparatively. Oh, and I think I just, you know, kind of run myself into enemies at this point. I give a half-hearted attempt to complete this wave, but decide, nah, enough is enough. This is enough to complete the quest, and that's really all I care about. But yes, it's uninteresting fishing, but huge benefit that you get from it. So yeah, the fact that this is kind of interesting, but it's still pretty simple, and you do get rewards, but you don't get that good of rewards, means that I'm not really all that into doing it over and over. At least with something like the drink machine, the drinks are pretty good. But even then, I think at this point I might have better items than what I was getting from those drinks. So, I don't know. It's that's the big reasoning, as that's me wasting time until I finish up with that turret section. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, part 2 of this whole quest. Oh no, I should have saved some of those conversational topics for this part. Oh well. Hey, at least you get to see like a new type of dungeon-y area. I feel like you probably shouldn't be drilling your way into here, but at least I finally got in this time. I'm still thinking about the Maroon Valley one where they said, hey, we're eventually going to call on you to get into this temple now. I mean, just any day now. I'm like, when? I even went back and checked for that after, well, a little bit before I started doing the post commentary here to see if that quest happened to come up now. But nope, it's still, they're still like, hey, just talk to Joel when the time comes. And still hasn't come. And I do know there are more quests in there. You can check your quest completion at whatever, like the hub, the quest hub is for the respective town. So I would know if I had completed everything. Joel, get on is what I'm saying. Anyway. Yeah, I accidentally looked at the just regular stuff when I wanted to look at this. Double strike, large range, powerful, causes jolt. The explosive shot, though, I do like that wave thing with like light homing and explosions. Of course, it's not... There's a very obvious way to do this. You notice how the right side appears to be... You notice how the right side appears to be the electric side and the left side appears to be the wave side? Yeah, well, just line up electricity on the left side, counter the wave, and etc. and so on. Make sure you got the neutral turrets to take down shields, and that's it. That's pretty much the entire thing. Of course, you're still going to be fighting enemies and everything like that, but it is very straightforward. Yeah, that was what I was talking about before with the way that it is. It's still, there are like mechanics here. Each one of the turrets does something different and something interesting, but it feels like the actual strategy is just do it like this sort of thing. Put the wave on the right side and the shock on the left side, and then beat everything up in the best way that you possibly can. It is definitely a type of quest where you should be focusing on the electric side, because wave is... Because, yeah, like the shock turrets are pretty good. I wasn't lying when I said, hey, it seems like one of the best strategies might be just to use all shock turrets. Of course, it could also just be that the wave-related enemies are easier to take down in general. Whereas the shock ones, not so much. Those Wick Hats can do a number on you. And there's also another new type of enemy that gets introduced here that I don't think you see anywhere else. In fact, if I'm remembering the Monster Fibula entry correctly, it was something along the lines of... we don't know what... this is a tunnel version of it. We don't know what a normal version of it is, but it would presumably be very similar to what you're fighting right now. I told you those Wick Hats are kind of rough. A little rough. A tad rough. But as soon as I get a couple more... of the turrets kind of in place, everything will fall into place. Yes. I also, to be honest, do really like using the wave element. I think the wave element has some pretty great stuff with the just... Despite the fact that the melee is not very good, the healing and the... Eventually, as I'm going to be using a little bit of the defensive options, the actual guard arts, I did enjoy. Alright, and here is that new enemy that I was talking about, which I do not remember its name. Let's call him Dr. Thunder. So, Dr. Thunder here is a bull of the standard bull type, the Tesla bovine. Yes, I remember the actual name here. Thank God, I can stop calling it that dumb name that just came up in 5 seconds. I mean, it is a real thing. It's like an off-brand version of Dr. Pepper. Do I even need to explain this? Why do I even bother explaining? Anyway, yeah, you don't see those things anywhere else. Interesting that it only appears here, and they are as beefy as a large cow-like enemy would imply. So that's definitely why I want to be sitting over on this side, even more than just wanting to use a bunch of the wave type abilities. It's a good practice anyway. And I am throwing some non-wave, non-shock type of stuff in here, you know, just for fun, basically. And one wave over there, because even though they're going to resist it, maybe I can at least get like a mark on there, you know, to try and get a little bit of extra damage. Seems like that would be a quality take in a tower defense scenario, period. It is not hitting nearly fast enough, and they're really shrugging off that sort of... What is even going on now? Everything's just flashing and... Well, I mean, the amount of enemies you fight in here is more than you're going to be fighting just about anywhere else. So I guess this is kind of how it do. We're getting to, like, normal day in Dead Cells levels of particle effects on screen and everything. Do not let that Tesla bovine charge you. It's bad news. And here's one more. And it's not too bad. I certainly have enough energy to utilize everything that I possibly can, so it's just gonna be slowing down with the, well, marking with the marking stuff, and I think this was when I finally chose to slow down. No, I just went with a neutral one to make sure that nothing was gonna have a shield around here. Thinking about it right now, I probably should have used a couple more slowing turrets just to get the chill and just to prevent enemies from moving as fast. I mean, that is also... I've only played a few turret defenses in my time, but that feels like such an obvious strategy that how could I not be? Mostly just with the old school Warcraft 3 maps that exist, like Elemental Tower Defense or whatever. Never really played too much for... There's sort of like a nouveau... what would you call it? Renaissance of a lot of tower defense stuff, especially with the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I did put out chill. Now I completely forgot if I did that or not. Yeah, but yeah, there was kind of like a renaissance of that with the with like the mobile market coming in and giving you just a ton of... It's a very simple type of game to be running on that. But I haven't really played too much mobile games, period, to be honest. I don't even know if I've ever played a mobile game now that I'm thinking about it. I think I've just kind of not really played anything. If I just got my phone on, I usually go on the internet. Watch videos or something. I'm a bad video game boy, I suppose. Well, anyway, I was thinking about going back and doing the second version of that, but, yeah, I mean, no. Look, I'll come up with more fishing minigames to talk about for the next episode. There are plenty of them out there, certainly. Maybe I'll talk about proper fishing games. Now that would be a twist. And how much I was hyped up over that Fishing Planet trailer when it originally dropped. I remember, for some reason, there was like 2 days, 2 years ago or something, where people were talking a lot about, like, hey, this is a super cool trailer for a kind of middle-of-the-road fishing game. Anyway. Okay, now I am actually going after the drug-running business here. Because I forgot that I didn't. And no, I'm not getting that chest, not until the end of the episode. Always. Always and forever. And like I was saying before, you do also need to do this if you are trying to collect all the chests as well, because there are a couple of them down here. And what exactly is this? I mean, you know, running your way through guards and all that. I mean, is it exactly what I was doing in the Vermilion Wasteland? Oh, yes, it is. That's right. I guess Instantainment did in fact get a little bit of usage out of the cone of light thing after all. The security brutes have been utilized outside of just, I don't know, being the ultimate player killers for people that wander out of bounds. It's not easy, but as long as you remember all the lessons from the Vermilion Wasteland, like, don't jump over enemies. Don't think that enemies cannot look up. They can. You're okay. The other thing here is that finally being on the other side of the law, I get the ultimate weapon, or the ultimate item, a smoke bomb. Yes, finally. Finally, I get it for myself. It's unfortunate that this is the only place I can use it, because it is a foolproof way to run away from literally everybody and everything in the game, at least from what I've seen so far. What a... what a time to get... I mean, I guess it only makes sense to get it for yourself in one way or another, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I would like to get maybe even just a couple of those to use at any point in time. Run away from fights or go through stuff like this, or even the Vermilion Wasteland thing. It's not like you were stripped of your items when you got into the Vermilion Wasteland. It was just stripped of your freedom. And sent into a hellish alternate dimension that is just mostly kind of unfinished. It's largely boring. Well, hey, at least I got through this first section easy enough. One of the great things about this is that Mick does keep track of how many times you fail it, which is real fun. And as soon as you hit that button over on the side, you don't have to do this again, which is very nice. I don't think they can see you if you're not jumping over areas, but I was being extra careful just in case. You gotta be, because that sort of thing happens. Okay, well, I didn't jump, but he definitely saw me. Never mind then. Whatever, I got the shortcut. I got my... I'll be able to get through the first part of this easy enough. Which also helps a lot when I do come back for the chest later. Yes, it is a permanent smoke bomb, which is great. This guy right here, though, is frustrating. Because he doesn't have like one set pattern where he looks in 3 directions and then repeats that. He has 2 set patterns where he looks in 3 directions. One of them being, you know, looking to the right, looking upwards, looking left. And then one of them being looking right and then immediately looking left. And that's the one I'm going at right now. Thankfully, this, in a lot of ways, has the speedrunner tech in here, where you can do everything on the first cycle of guards going around. So as long as you know where you need to go, and you can just be quick about it, and you'll be totally okay. That is not the right place to go, though. So, yeah. But after this point, I mean, all you gotta do is just kind of keep running forward, and you'll be fine. You'll be totally okay. In fact, I could even go through there. The cone of their vision is actually slightly smaller than what's shown, so that works out well for me. But I, you know, didn't want to risk it anyway. Because I didn't want to have to hack this up too much with editing, if nothing else. Just get lockstep in here to amuse myself. And then that's it. Yeah, come on. Yeah. I told you, he keeps track of it. I don't know what he says if you do it in one try, but like I said before, I'm sure it's something. This game has been pretty good about getting things covering all your bases when it comes to whatever the player might do. And the unfortunate thing is that, yeah, it's just a long, small tunnel, so he does block it forever. You can't see what that is. It's not even listed as an exit there. And he never moves from that spot. What a jerk. I'm glad that I don't have to do anything else with him. I mean, who knows? Maybe there is going to be another quest, because I was saying that I did check the quest percentage, and even after I finished like the Cat in the Car one and everything, I still was only 75% the way through. So, yeah. There's more stuff to be done. Perfect. Yes. I mean, maybe I can call in that favor at some point in time. I don't know what I could possibly do, and I'm pretty sure this NPC does not have the sort of capability to do anything about that. But, hey, even the quest thing says, you know, it might come in handy at some point. And it might. Alright, so that's the Mushroom Kingdom quest done. Yes, it is named that. So, You want to place any bets on what the item that I'm about to purchase upstairs is? You can have 2 guesses, because you probably won't get it on the first try, but you will get on the second because it's a 1-up. Yeah. Yeah. And it is like a pretty hefty buff. It is also very expensive. And I guess this is what they're creating. Look at all these drugs. Anyway, yeah, and I decided to just throw it away right now. Because that's how I roll, baby. This golden item that costs 60,000 credits, just to see that icon there and confirm, yes, it is in fact a 1-up mushroom. Great, cool. I like that there is the Electro gate right in front of the regular gate that has been broken through. There's something about that level of sci-fi-ishness that is fantastic. So yeah, the Excalibur, an interesting item. Yeah, it's certainly a little bit better than what I got. You might have noticed that the very last thing that it had on there was 0 EXP+++. Maybe don't want to take that. And those rough branches are stuff that you have to find in chests in the area, but I do eventually go get that. Because even though, well, the real prize back here, as I'm sure you probably already noticed, given what that one old man sitting on the tarp on the ground has on his back. Finally. I knew it was going to come. And I was ready. Time is coming, so have I. Etc. Except I'm missing 1 starfruit. Oh wait, no I'm not, because I just spent 2 minutes going around and getting another starfruit. Yeah, I'm telling you, post-commentary is the way to go if you're doing stuff on YouTube. It's great! Anyway. NPC gets confused trying to walk around me, but also... Oh yes. Another quest. I shouldn't have taken that at that point. I should have waited until I was actually in Sapphire Ridge. Okay, no, not really, but... it's an important thing to get eventually if I'm going to be upgrading that thing even more. Great. That's... yes. Hey, I mean, I've talked a lot about the Mario RPG games, and especially Paper Mario. You know what the great thing about like the Mario RPG games were? They just did everything by jumping. And that's the same thing here, I guess. Yeah, it's just you walk into town and they're like, so you say you're Mario, eh? Well, why don't you prove that you're Mario? And then you jump. They're like, oh my god, it's actually Mario. Please let me give you everything you need to continue on your journey. Those are a lot of very good games, by the way. Rest in peace, Alpha Dream. So, using wave, using shock. I mean, they even set it up so it had a little wave symbol on it, which, very nice, great. And thankfully, unlike the other wave blocks, you don't have to wait for this to teleport to a waypoint. It just teleports automatically to you. I'm very glad that I do not get hurt by that explosion. And also that it was so powerful that it exploded the other coolers around there. Which, that's how that works. I mean, it's a video game, so of course that's how it works. The frustrating thing, though, is that when it overheats, I don't think you can warp it around, so that is a little bit of a problem, but it's not going to come up until after this, when I fight the boss, basically. Let me tell you, this was definitely the point in time that I got used to actually using the number keys to switch to elements, just because, well... using the scroll wheel up until this point was fine when I only had 2 or 3 in total, but 4 of them, it's like trying to switch between fire, wave, and shock at the same time so I can get like the combination that I need to set up here. It was not doing. Aside from that, the Corrado actually is just like a normal Corrado. Come on, take him down. He has pretty much all the same basic types of... oh, what, that one didn't explode, though, when I heated it up? He has the same basic types of attacks, you know, like the 3-shot, as well as the super shot and the slam. Not the super slam, though. Make no mistake on that. It's a very vanilla type of boss compared to what you would expect. You would at least think it would be like a strawberry flavor, something ice cream. Anyway, because vanilla ice cream. Well, yeah, the other thing here is that... Actually, I forgot what the other thing was. No, I'm just going to take down this boss. Oh, yeah, I guess he can also freeze that for a short amount of time, too. Not that big of a deal, but a little bit frustrating to make work. You can also use that as a barrier if you're feeling particularly saucy. It's not like... I don't think that's an intended usage of the heater, but... You know, you do it like you can. Also, ow. Once again, there's that whole using it for cover. And that should be the end of Mrs. Snowman here. Or at least it would have been if he didn't throw up that barrier at like the last second that he possibly could. You know, I really should have just gone in there and whacked him a whole bunch of times with like melee fire element. Because it's so minimally... He has so little health left right now. It's ridiculous. And even though he is starting to bring out some more unique attacks, it's not going to help him too much. I'll tell you that right now. The whole like flame trail, the whole snow trail on the ground. Nah, I don't even care. Are you kidding me? Like 1 second out there just to get one last hit. Well, fine. I don't even care all that much. And I'm also going to deactivate that just because it's already cold enough in here. It's going to take a while to defrost. But yeah, there's that, and there's another piece of headgear that I am not going to be using. Because I don't... I already have a Tolado Lips, a very nice strawberries hat, so what do I need another... So, you know, what do I need another hat for? It could not possibly compare. Nothing can. I mean, it does give you, like, a pretty hefty, like, item up, or maybe it's items from plants. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. For the most part, I've just been using that straw hat since I got it in the first place. It's been pretty great. And besides, it's not like I'm going to be going to any other cold areas to be using cold-themed cowls anyway. Now, the final area, I think, was described as being in perpetual night. So, maybe that's a little bit cooler? Probably not. Well, in the meantime, Amperies, laugh at me as I completely misunderstand how to be fighting these things. I look at them and I'm like, wait, they're supposed to be weak to electricity. Why ain't my electricity doing nothing? And that's because they are Amperies. They are electrically powered, even though they do have the same basic weaknesses as normal Argeries. Argeries? What are they called? I don't remember. But, yeah, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hit them with Wave to take down their shield, and then hit them with Shock to kill them. It's... Well, they also do quite a bit of damage, too. They still got, like, the whole teleporting ability and electrical abilities even on top of that. They're frustrating. They are a frustrating enemy to fight. Which is why I am glad that I have the 3 party members here. Because even if I screw up the basic order of events when it comes to fighting these things, or just completely misunderstand how to do it in the first place, I noticed that now I did understand how the wave thing worked, but I did not switch off of wave because I didn't realize, no, you just supposed to do that to take out their barrier and then fight them normally. It's... Everybody else here has it covered, is what I'm saying. And that's the only thing that you can hope for from such good friends as this. Ones that will live with you, completely screwing up basic mechanics in an MMO. It's pretty great to have those sort of people backing you up. Anyway, Amperies do come in groups of multiple of them at once, but also in groups of other enemies, which is frustrating to fight. So you'll occasionally get like some fish or birds, you know, on your tail alongside the couple of tough mini-boss-ish type enemies that you're fighting anyway. That said, it's not that big of a deal. I did die to him a couple times, though, so I shouldn't say it's not that big of a deal. It's still kind of a big deal. It's manageable. That's the phrase I want to use. And yeah, you don't need to see me fight a bunch of birds. Yeah, the thing that really confused me when I was doing this particular quest for some reason was the fact that I kept like walking over one of the areas. You might notice in Guy's Garden that there are two areas directly next to each other, and I always kept going around the left one through the ring and never went around to the right one. So I was very confused as to what I was missing by the end of this, until I realized that I had been completely neglecting that side of the area the entire time. And it's like, how far does west extend out to? I swear I'm on the east side right now, and I'm still not finding any more of these things. Yeah. Oh well, just a couple more left to go here, and then... I told you, I didn't really like this quest all that much. It really is just fight a million of these guys. If you only had to fight 6 of them, that would have been fine. But 17? 17! That's too many. That is exactly 11 too many. And then, yes, there is a little bit of actual wave usage here as you're going down to this very interesting looking spot. But that's actually not where the Ampere spawn. They don't get their own little arena. You just go down to the bottom here and fight the last couple ones that you need. Am I going to be coming back here? Yes. I mean, as soon as they said, it's like, hey, we're getting some weird readings, I'm like, yeah, from the boss arena? I bet. Or at least the mini-boss arena, if not proper boss. Also, you need to go back and talk to Claude again after you complete that whole thing, which is even more walking around. Oh no. Yep, and then right back to it. And because I did kind of die to this enemy a couple times, I buffed up a little bit. Just a little bit. It's Buff Blooming. Yeah. An extra powerful muscular plant. And it's actually really not too much different than your regular power plants. The only thing is that I can't just run in and immediately melee it down. And it does also get a little bit of a different set of attacks, where it can like actually call down thunder on you and everything. That one in particular was kind of rough to deal with. Also, becoming extra muscular meant that it grew extra hands. You know, it's the Machamp story. I mean, if only though. I could go for an extra pair of hands. I guess what I'm saying is I am down with living that transhumanist lifestyle. Not the transplantist, though. I feel like that might be... it's just a strange thing. I mean, aside from the pun. What would plants have to be jealous of when it comes to gigantic, beefy, muscular arms? They have incredible cell walls around their cells. They don't need arms. They're so powerful already. And DK Pepper. You know, I was talking about Dr. Thunder earlier, and that's kind of what it is that I just got, isn't it? Huh. I don't know what to think about that. Well, anyway, that's done, which means that there is only... what, Henry's quest? Yes, Henry's quest left. Yeah? Yes. Well, anyway, yeah. It's how a plant was able to amass that much power. Well, I'll give you a hint. It's the first word in its name. No, not buff. Alright, and this area, I kind of skipped like halfway through it to just the part where the probe is. You'll be seeing a little bit more of it when I get to the chest section of the episode. And like the proper entrance and how to get around that area. It took me a very long time to do so, there's the truncated version of it. After I do it a second time, it's much easier. So yeah, we got Baxton Addy again, who is still on the trail of Henry and has seemingly actually found the guy. Even though his plan, whatever it might be, related to turning people into Zir'vitars, or, well, creating Zir'vitars based off of people, because he's Satoshi. No, I'm not saying that just yet. Like I said, it's probably a coincidence. Maybe. I'm still kind of confused as if Satoshi is in fact alive or not, because at the very beginning of the game, he seemed to have died, and there are cyber clones, but also at the same time, you know, you'd think like Shizuka would mention the fact. I don't remember her ever saying anything like, hey, you killed my brother, or like, you know, she was just mostly angry at Leia about the idea that she was copied from her. And besides, it never seemed like Satoshi was actually in Crossworlds himself. I mean, certainly I think that he was just using an avatar the entire time. I mean, I suppose when your avatar dies, you do. Well, when you die, your avatar does kind of as well, but I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a twist that he is actually here, or maybe it is just going to be, yeah, no, it's a cyberclone. I would probably bank on cyberclone right now before I said that we're going to have a not actually dead twist, but I'll say this, I'm still leaving the possibility open that it could happen. Well, anyway, here's another. I'm still missing 4 chests, even at the end of all of this. By the way, those 2 chests at the very beginning were the last 2 that I got, and I just kind of threw them in the middle of the episode without realizing that that was immediately at the start of the chest section. I enjoy that. Well, anyway, what was I saying here? Yes, still I'm missing 4 chests. I think that, I mean, I do know that the Cat in the Car quest has some there. I knew that he was going to have a few, because that was the same thing for Maroon Valley. And I think the other ones were just around the entrance to the 3rd dungeon. So I should have everything at the end of next episode, but I'm still missing a couple here. That is definitely not the way you're supposed to do that, but I did it anyway because I wanted to show my amazing, like, shooting skills. Hire me on for some sort of shooter tournament. I can't even come up with one. I can't even come up with, like, a fake first-person shooter tournament in any way. Like, I couldn't even said, like, Fortnite or whatever. Which, at this point in time, I want to say is still probably the most popular shooting-y type of game out there. Anyway, here's the real way you're supposed to do this. I opened up that gate earlier. You go over here. Call of Duty has been making kind of a comeback. It seemed like Warzone was doing well. But yeah, that's the real way you're supposed to do that, and I want to at least show it. Yeah, there's like a couple multiple ways that you can do some of this stuff that I've found going through here. I guess it's just part of being the biggest area in the entirety of CrossCode so far. Yes, and that's the proper entrance. You just come in from the south side, go over to the left. I could have actually done this in the previous episode. Well, I could have at least found this in the previous episode. Not actually done anything in it, but could have looked for it. But yeah, get this, which I think is called like the Tranquility Cave or something, and another one of these items. I'm betting probably... I've gotten a lot of those things like the Portrait of Ruin and stuff like Halcyon Drop. Probably going to be used for the final drill upgrade, along with all of those wacky stone things that I've been collecting. Of which, yes, you are going to see another one in this episode. That's in Basin Keep. On the rooftops, as you do. But yeah, that's how you get in there and get that probe if you're also following along at home doing Henry's quests. Are you using this as a walkthrough? Who would be using this as a walkthrough? This is an LP. You're watching this to get the very truncated version of the events of the game. You're not really watching this because you're like, ooh, how did he get all the chests in the area? Yeah, let me watch this 2-hour-long video and try to skip around to find the one chest that I'm missing. I mean, I guess if you are using this like that, the way I'm doing it is I'm basically going from the bottom of of the bottom of Gaia's Garden and going left around the circle, aside from those first 2 chests at the beginning, which were in the Corrado Cave and the one of the infected jungle areas, respectively. But yeah, that last thing that I showed was not actually someplace to go to a chest. It just seemed to be an alternate way to get up to that waterfall area in that section, which is, sure, why not? Like I said, it's big in terms of chests, but also in terms of just paths around, too. Multiple ways to do things and everything like that. Which is neat, but also kind of frustrating when I was hoping for a chest. Of the many, many that I had to go for here. I mean, this was mostly painless to do, at least because I did have most of the teleporters marked off on the map already. So that after I did them, I deleted them from the map, and if I didn't see anything more on that, I could just safely assume that I had already completed everything in that area. And aside from those first 2 chests at the beginning, that was true. Worked out quite well for me. Barely off screen. But hey, you could easily see it from the ground, too. And then, yeah, it looks like there should be something more on that stump, but there's not. Yeah, I don't know. It's they had like a jump pad on there and everything, but yeah, it's just nothing. Wow, that was amazing in the way that it went entirely around that warp point and did nothing. So yeah, this area, which I saw last time, it is... What? How did I even teleport here? But it is a little bit frustrating. It's like, I'm sure I probably did some of this wrong, because it feels like it shouldn't be this touchy as far as actually getting into some of the warp points goes. But, hey, I did it. And that's the only thing that matters as far as I'm concerned. As long as you are able to... Yeah, that's right. You face the other direction. It is a 90-degree angle there. That's how that works. But yeah, it's some tricky shots, but... You know, it was mostly done pretty smooth despite that. I don't know. And you get an extra wall up there, which means that you need to actually use that thing that I used last time getting out of this area. Very careful shot. This one at least feels like it's intended to finally claim the prize. Which is, of course, a weapon that is less good than the ones I'm already using. Hey! That's video games for you. That's always video games for you. There's plenty of items I'm getting here that are just not going to be as good as the items that I'm already carrying around. Yeah, I'm really not... You're really not supposed to do it like that. You're just supposed to, you know, shoot it like that. But I wanted to make sure that I was clearing out all the plants first, because that was... It's annoying to try to shoot around them. So very difficult to see if you have actually made it or not. Then one more warp later. And this is not the hardest of them, but it is a frustrating one to do because it is a 2-parter. As always, there's a decent amount of these 2-part puzzles around here. And they're not always the easiest ones to figure out where you're supposed to start at. Of course, that's why I practice stuff. And they're only matched by the ones where you have to go to a completely different area. And there's like fake out things. Like I'm talking about the very next chest that I'm going to be getting. Oh, not this one. The next chest after I leave the infected jungle. I told you I was going to get that one. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get the unique music that you get from... You don't get the unique music that you get when you were doing the section before, when you're just kind of wandering through it, doing a little bit of cleanup. It's too bad, because I don't remember if that music ever actually appeared anywhere else in the game. And yes, I did immediately get caught after that, but it's not a big deal. It was vetting. Once again, I don't know how much these guys can actually see you, but every time, just want to be careful. You just got to be careful. It's the only way it's going to work in any way. Thankfully, they do pretty easily tell you. They clearly indicate where you're supposed to be going with all these bridges around. If you're kind of confused on like the direction that you're heading, get on a bridge. That's words of wisdom from old Docky here. You always know you're around some sort of civilization if you see a bridge. Unless it's like a log bridge, I guess. That could just be a natural creation. Not something like this, though. All right. This one is just, jumping over here again. There's a lot of these areas where, sometimes you get some really great shortcuts getting in here. Sometimes you actually have to do, like, the proper thing as you did before, again, to get some of these chests. CrossCode, I think, overall has been pretty good at opening up areas as you go through them enough, and I can give it a lot of props for that. I mean, that's something that you don't really expect out of even, modern AAA games in a lot of ways. So I do like seeing it here, where everything is kind of designed with the idea that, hey, if you mess something up, at least it's going to be easy enough to get back up here. We just put some jump pads here and there. And with the whole conceit of this being some sort of MMO, having super out of place, like, clear boundaries to every single area, or like these jump pads everywhere around, that's the one that I was talking about. I don't even know what that warp pad is supposed to be for, because how are you supposed to get to that thing? It's like completely locked off, and it's just to fool you. It's a red herring, which is something that I will not give this game props for, because that's ridiculous. You're making this a little bit too hard for me. And there's one of the rough branches that you need to make the bigger stick a little bit later on, which I will. Like I said, I will eventually end up using that, at least for a time. That and the drill that I got, of course. Because given the way that you have had to go on a huge trading quest for it already, I don't know, it took me so long to figure this one out. I kept thinking that you had to like jump on top of the area around here or walk through those trees, but no, it was just that. Yeah, given the huge trading quest you had to go on to get that in the first place, I'm really thinking that is going to be the ultimate weapon of the game. It's gotta be, right? I mean, what else? What else? All right. So coming up on the end of this, because like I said, I was kind of going around left to, starting left, going clockwise, and this is the final area here. Just some very basic cleanup, nothing very difficult to get or like really all that complicated even. Just mostly utilizing all of the warp pads that I was unable to do so before, but have now become available to me after going through the temple. Which, by the way, unfortunately, I am not going to be able to get the chest from the temple because that area is now blocked off by cutscene. So I'm going to save it for the next... I'm going to save it for the next episode. It's fine. There were like 2 chests. And most of them you could pretty easily find, too. And to be honest, in the next area, the chests are also very easy to find in the tree dungeon. They were not the most impressively hidden ones that I've seen. I'll just put it that way. But hey, at least I can get the ones back in base and keep. Which, there's only 5 of them in total, I believe. But one of them really threw me for a loop. I alluded to that earlier with the fact that it's in the police station. And much like the one that I got in the previous temple, it's basically just completely obscured. Oh, there's a sprout. Super loud. Yeah, it was basically just completely obscured by one of the walls. As you do. Make sure you're paying attention when you're looking around. But yeah, I mean, you do get like a nice whirlwind tour of the city, climbing around on the rooftops, which is kind of cool. I can appreciate that. And I don't really want to jump off just yet, even though I do need to do that for another chest over there. Because going down here, I can get 2 chests instead. 2 birds with 1 stone, etc. Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. None of these have anything to do with each other, but I said it anyway, like they did. Yeah, I was a little bit confused. Like, wait, is this the area that I wanted to go to? And yes. Because it's right there. No, you can't climb on top of the... Even though they're slanted down, you can't climb on top of the garbage bins from that side. What are you even thinking? What a foolish thing to say. There's another one up, which is pretty nice. 60k credits that I don't have to spend now. One more over here with some very obvious bookcases around. Sure, sure. But also another one of the mysterious logs. Only one more left to go at this point. And then I'm going to actually show it off in the lore. For right now, it's just going to be a whole bunch of the enemies. Get your thought bubble out of the way. I'm trying to get a chest here. And hey, it's one of the final dinners. I told you, like, super, super worth it to even maybe try to do a little bit more of that tower defense stuff. Well, I don't need to now. I'm provided that I never need to use it more than once. Use more than one of them. Yeah, it's not clearly unknown what a regular Tesla bovine is. Which is, sure, you could have easily just thrown it in any one of the dungeons. Whatever. Am I really going to argue with not having to fight those cows again? They're kind of rough. A little bit rough. Tunnel wickats. Which, yeah, black cats and dark caves are usually hard to see. That cave was lit up like the sun with the amount of crazy track energy going on in there. I would not say it was dark in any way. A lawless bird. Something to aspire to. And we got the Robok, which I think they say here, yeah, like one of the first creatures created for the track. So I'm gonna guess that's probably a reference to the fact that it's one of the first developed in the game. I don't know if that's true, but a robot chicken, sure, why not? Why not? Illegal guard information, underpaid. Oh, come on. They're doing such a great service trying to prevent mushroom smuggling operations from getting into the city. They should be paid more than that. Fruit Seeker. Okay, that doesn't explain the volleyball on the head, but sure. Yeah, this pretty much fruit obsessed. I guess he had a whole bunch of crates around there. It didn't really seem like he'd be all that much fruit or fruit theming in there, so I don't know. Yeah. Buff Bloomy empowered these things with superpowers. That quest was terrible. Anyway. And you get the power plant, which are just in a game where there's a lot of silly enemies, I think that one is the silliest. Uses strength to hurl itself at seekers. I mean, I guess, hey, at least it got, despite its mysterious intentions, got a better paying job than the guards. Proving one's body, no matter if root or flesh, should always be done responsibly. It's true. It's true. Words to live by, CrossCode. Although, like I said, plants don't need to improve. They're great. Ectovolt, I somehow did not get enough enemy skill to get the description of this. Coming next episode, I guess. I don't know. And finally, the Plasma Phantom to end up the episode. Just a cursed soul of an ancient. Again, sometimes you get a lot more magic in this game than you think. Oh well, next time, finishing up Gaia's Garden. Oh boy, it's been a while.